I'm Steve Wilkerson, and I'm with Jim Saunders, Executive Editor of the News Service of Florida. Jim, Thursday, the governor and cabinet will be meeting in Tampa, and because of all the controversy swirling around the manner in which FDLE Commissioner Gerald Bailey was, I guess, dismissed from his job, or whatever happened, resigned, I think it was dismissed, the cabinet's going to be talking about that, and I guess we don't know exactly what to expect. Will they be talking about Commissioner Bailey? Or will they be talking about the process, or what?
Well, we think that they're going to be talking about the process of hiring agency heads. We don't think they're going to be talking so much about the dismissal of Bailey. But big picture, this is probably the biggest political controversy the governor has faced since he's been in office. He's got 3 other cabinet members who are pretty upset with him. He doesn't have a whole lot of people defending the way this whole Bailey dismissal was handled. And now particularly Chief Financial Officer Jeff Atwater and Agriculture Commissioner Adam Putnam are saying that they, as a cabinet and with the governor, they need to figure out how they're going to deal with circumstances in which their agency heads they want to dismiss, hire, make moves.
In this particular case, with the commissioner of the FDLE, officially, what is the process supposed to be?
Well, there are certain agencies in government that fall underneath the governor and cabinet. Florida Department of Law Enforcement's one, the Office of Insurance Regulation, there are some others. And basically, the cabinet is supposed to have signed off on agency actions involving the FDLE commissioner. This all started back in December, and the governor apparently had made up his mind that he wanted to change at the head of FDLE. And there are a lot of questions out there about what the cabinet members may have known or what they didn't know. But the bottom line is that at the time, Scott's general counsel went over to Gerald Bailey's office, and within a couple hours, or few hours, this longtime law enforcement officer was gone. And the cabinet members are saying that they were, that they had been told that Scott wanted to make a change, but they had no idea that this was the way it was going to happen. And there's questions, also about whether they knew whether Scott said that it was a resignation. Gerald Bailey flatly disputed that and said it was a lie to say it was a resign. And that all kind of blew up on the cabinet members who seemed to, at least publicly, say that they thought Bailey was resigning. When it became clear that the governor basically had forced him out, that all blew up on them. And so they are very sensitive these days to perceptions about how they are doing their jobs as well.
Well, Commissioner Putnam, CFO Atwater, they are viewed as people that might run for governor one day, so how they handle this going forward is very important to them.
Those two have been very aggressive in pushing back against the governor and also saying that they want change in the process going forward as terms of these agency heads. As part of this whole controversy as well, the governor has raised the possibility of replacing Insurance Commissioner Kevin McCarty, as well as the Department of Revenue Executive Director and the Director or Commissioner of the Office of Financial Regulation. This all came into this mix and really stirred the pot, made it even more controversial, particularly because of the Insurance Commissioner. It's come out that the governor's office had made some contacts with an insurance official in Louisiana about possibly replacing McCarty, while McCarty's still in the job, and this has never come before the cabinet. And so when that came out, it even added more question about what the governor is doing and whether the cabinet members are, really in the loop on it. And you're right. I mean, Putnam and Atwater are both viewed as statewide candidates in the future for high offices. Everybody thinks Putnam's going to run for governor in 2018, and most people think Atwater's going to run for governor, U.S. Senate. But for them, this has been sort of, I think, embarrassing in the fact that all this played out with Bailey. They didn't really know, apparently, what was going on. Now it comes out that McCarty may be targeted by the governor, and they have presumably have not been in the loop on that. So they are pushing back pretty hard. You know, the governor has not really gotten a lot of support from anybody on the way this Bailey situation has been handled. I think it's partly, too, that there's an element that this guy was in law enforcement for decades. And to, you know, be ushered out the door that quickly, I think that's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I don't know that Gerald Bailey, you know, is the greatest law enforcement officer in the world or not. But I think people realize he was a loyal person and loyal to the job. And I think that's part of it too. He wasn't just some nameless, faceless person in state government that the governor pushed out.
Another theme that I picked up from some of the headlines is that the other cabinet officers compared to the governor in this situation kind of look like shadows of the governor when there's been a big, well, there's a long tradition in Florida of the cabinet officers, some of them being elected statewide, having their own constituency. And here you have a Republican governor, Republican cabinet officers, and it looks like perhaps that they were being taken for granted, perhaps not contacted or whatever. We don't really know what's happened, but maybe they are feeling like, I've got to stand for it. I've got to stand up. I've got to say, we've got to get this clarified on a going forward basis. Is that kind of the sense of what this meeting's about? And on Thursday, we got to deal with this going forward?
Well, they have said, Atwater and Putnam have both made pretty clear that they don't want to make any other personnel changes until they get a process in place or until they're all on the same playing field in terms of their understanding of how these situations are going to be handled. McCarty, the insurance commissioner, is in a very high-profile position. I mean, our insurance industry in Florida has been relatively calm in the past several years because of no hurricanes. But that job is very high profile when there are emergencies. And it also can blow up on legislative leaders. It can blow up on the cabinet members if they get the wrong person in that job, because insurance is a very ticklish situation, particularly property insurance. So Atwater and Putnam have made clear that they do not want to move forward with taking action on that insurance commissioner job or anything else until they can get all this straightened out. Politically, they have big interests for looking like they're in control at this point. It's also interesting on the flip side is, there's always speculation about whether a governor is going to be a lame duck governor in his second term. And I don't think anybody expected this to be the kind of situation that was going to put Governor Scott on the defensive about whether he was going to be a lame duck this quickly. But he's not getting a whole lot of signs of support from his Republican colleagues, whether it be on the state level, in the legislature. There's just nobody coming out in support of him on these issues. So, and also right now the party is in flux because the governor's chairwoman did not get reelected. So there's a transition there. There isn't that party infrastructure behind him. So there's a lot of political elements here, and you can bet that Putnam and Atwater are looking forward to make sure that they are viewed as reacting to this strongly after maybe, being viewed that they weren't up to speed in the beginning on it.
Thank you, Jim. For more news about Florida politics and government, visit the Advances section of our website.